Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. Now, normally, while I do not do this program by myself today, it will just be you and I once again. Unfortunately, Mike is on the road handling his business, and that's unfortunately, he doesn't get to be here with us. But Mike, we know that you're with us in spirit. In that case, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get to it. But before we do, want to remind you, make sure if you have not already done so, like, share, subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same. We don't care how you partake. We just care that you partake. So take a few moments. If you haven't already subscribed to us, wherever you watch us, subscribe. Same thing when it comes to the podcast. If you're just listening to us afterwards, once again, however you do it, go ahead and do it and share with your friends. All right, let's say a quick hello to our sponsors. We'll start with Hitman Industries. If you are looking for rifle or pistol caliber barrels, this is the place that you want to go. Because guess what? They also have Glock barrels that are soon going to be coming in, so keep an eye out for them. But you want to make sure to go to hitmanindustries.net and get your rifle and pistol length barrels today. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly, what I like to refer to as the Republican wing of the Republican Party in the state of California, electing conservatives from school board all the way up to President of the United States. But go to the website, check them out. It's cragop.org. That's cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. And then we've got Hog Holsters. Hog Holsters has the best tactical concealed carry, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, you name it, they'll have your setup for your firearm and your optical or your light. Whatever you have, trust me, you will be able to find it there at hogholsters.com. That's helping Americans wear guns. Now, you go there. If you use the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces, just as it is right up there, then you will get a discount. So go there, go to hogholsters.com and get your hog holster today. And then if you're looking for any kind of outdoor gear, tactical gear, cold weather gear or hot weather gear, boots, hats, backpacks, thermos, whatever you're looking for, trust me, you will find it at uscombatgear.com. Veteran owned and operated, fantastic prices, great customer service and fast shipping. Check them out, uscombatgear.com. All right, we're going to get into today's news stories, and California seems to be the center or the home of homelessness in this country, and some might say that it's because of our beautiful weather. I would say that it is in part because of our good weather, but I would say it's in part because, we're basically spending a lot of money on homelessness, and we appear to be getting a lot for our money. A lot of homelessness, that is. It has gone quite nuts, and it's gotten so bad there in places like Los Angeles. Well, I'll tell you what. Here's an example. I'll give you an example of just how bad it is. Now, this is a story about a guy who, now mind you, even though that homelessness is rampant, they're doing absolutely nothing to enforce homelessness laws or anything like that in order to keep people from camping out or destroying the neighborhood. This is what they're doing to a local business owner.
On the left, a small sign and an American flag. Do you see anything wrong with that? Proudly waving in front of Los Angeles and this Los Angeles business. And on the right, just down the street, you see the homeless camps blocking the sidewalks. But according to the business owner, it's his sign and the American flag that city officials are cracking down on now. His name is Arik Air, and he says that instead of arresting or addressing this homeless crisis, that agents came to him 5 times to fine him for the sign that's apparently 1 inch too close to city property, and they have ticketed him for flying the American flag. And he joins us now. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you. All right, so this is crazy. We have so many people on Fox that talk about the homeless problem and crisis there in California, and this is what city officials are focused on. How do you feel?
Oh, yeah, I'm kind of pissed off because it's ongoing battle with them for kind of forever. So they keep changing the inspectors, and each one interpreted what their work to justify the work. They need to come and give you a ticket for something. So at the beginning, they came and they were complaining on the flags. And when I say, okay, what is the problem with the flags? The guy called them a flat banners. And I said, this is not a flat banner. This is American flag. And, we got a ticket for those at the pass, and it was
Oh
$461.
my
And
gosh.
then lately, last month, they start coming for the A-frame, and the guy came 4 times in 1 month, and then he called one time. The fifth time, he did not even bother coming. He was actually rudely enough calling me and telling me, "Can you please text me a picture of your sign
Oh my
to confirm that you're
gosh.
not breaking the law right now?"
That is so
And I said, "Okay,
stupid.
you got."
That little
Yes,
A
I said,
sign, that foldable, retractable sign that he wants you to just move it back an
yes.
inch because he has the power.
So, as you can see, they are busy going after business owners who are actually creating revenue, creating tax dollars for the city. They're going after them and penalizing them, finding them. In the meantime, they're continuing to exacerbate the homelessness crisis there by actually now you've got the mayor has declared or extended the emergency what they're calling the homelessness emergency. It says the homeless crisis devastating Los Angeles appears to be only worsening as Mayor Karen Bass signed an updated emergency declaration giving her more extensive authority to tackle what she described as an issue of life and death. Bass, a Democrat, sure, yeah, no, big shock, huh? Bass, a Democrat, last week signed an updated declaration of the state of emergency on homelessness, giving her additional powers to expedite the process of building more housing. Call for the emergency service of city employees and coordinate citywide planning to respond to the homelessness crisis. It's no secret that Los Angeles is facing an emergency when it comes to homelessness, Bass said in a statement. This is an issue of life and death for the thousands of people who are living in tents and cars. That's why I signed an updated declaration of emergency and have continued to lock arms with City Council and maintain our momentum toward confronting homelessness and building more affordable housing. Now, you and I know, because we've already had this conversation, it's not just a homelessness issue. It's not even really an affordability. Well, it's an affordability issue because in many cases they're either dealing with mental health issues or drugs, and they're doing nothing to address that. They're doing nothing to address the crime that is coming along with many of those who are living on the streets. Absolutely nothing. Instead, what they're doing is they're going after law-abiding citizens, like the gentleman that you just saw. Folks, this is the reason why so many people are leaving the state of California, because this is the state of all of our metropolitan cities. I guarantee you, you're not seeing a lot of this in cities that are run by conservatives. I'll tell you that. But think about this. Think about every major city right now that's run by Democrats, and think about what is going on in those cities where you see the homelessness, where you see the crime, where you see drugs and drug addiction. It's all happening in Democrat-run cities, in Democrat-run states. Funny how that works, isn't it? And then you have the people who have the wherewithal, who have the ability to leave. Many of them are deciding to do just that, and they're going to places that, guess what, happen to be governed by Republicans. Right now, the problem is that they're going to move there and they're going to take their stinking thinking with them. Folks, remember, if you are going to a Republican community, right, or a Republican state, right, and you are moving from a Democrat state because you can no longer afford to live the American dream where you are coming from, remember this: you are a refugee, not a missionary. You are a refugee, not a missionary. Don't take your stinking thinking to wherever you're going and Californicate it. Okay, folks, that's for you. For those of you who live in red states who have Californians moving there, that is my service to you. So if anyone else out here is looking, paying attention, is watching from California and is looking to move, just please heed that advice. Anyway, moving right along. Oh, this one. So at Michigan, at the University of Michigan, They have a program that they call it hashtag police free campus, meaning they don't have any police on campus, I guess, at least as part of a project that they have there. Well, the interesting thing about that is, well, University of Michigan hosts hashtag police free campus project as shootings and sex crimes plague school. Oh, this is hilarious. Well, not hilarious. It's not hilarious. It's never hilarious when there's shootings and crime. But when you decide that you're going to do something so woke as not have police, and then you're surprised. Anyway, in the last month, and in the last month and a half alone, University of Michigan students have faced 2 shootings and 5 sex crimes, including one that occurred inside a campus building. That hasn't stopped the school from hosting a project that works towards the elimination of campus police. Assistant Professor Charles H.F. Davis III in 2020 founded the University of Michigan's Campus Abolition Research Lab, which aims to disrupt and dismantle the carceral university and create police-free futures. As part of that effort, the lab publishes a hashtag police-free campus podcast and hosts campus events that teach students how to become campus abolitionists. Davis, in recent weeks, has also reiterated the need to abolish police now. Davis and his lab have not, however, commented on the recent crime wave that has plagued the university campus. I'm not going to even get into the exact crimes, but of course they're not going to address it because you and I both know that, obviously, the people who are committing these crimes are victims, right? They're victims because, clearly it's systemic racism. Either they are, who knows, maybe if they are white, then they are seeking to engage in systemic racism or racism against somebody. And if they happen to be female or let me clarify, a non-man, if they happen to be a non-man who is or is not a person of color, well, then clearly the system is oppressing them. So that's going to be pretty much their stand. I don't understand where this idea. I mean, here's the thing. For the most part, laws exist primarily to keep those who refuse to be law-abiding or those who refuse to care about, those who don't care that if what they're doing harms others, it's to keep them in line. And somebody has got to enforce those laws. There's no sense in having laws if no one is actually going to enforce those laws. And we have deemed in our society that is what we have law enforcement for. We have law enforcement to enforce the laws, to keep people from shooting people, to keep people from raping people, or at the very least, even if they're not if they do it, then they will be apprehended and will face the consequences. That's the point. But if you don't have anybody to enforce it, then that seems to really kind of undermine what the whole point of what it is of having the law there is, doesn't it? One would think that that's the case, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm kind of crazy that way. But anyway, it'll be real interesting to see exactly what they start to do and to see if this is exposed. In other words, now that they're dealing with a bit of a little crime wave, is the crime wave going to go away, or is the lab going to go away, or both? Maybe that would be a good thing. Maybe the crime wave goes away, and this little experiment of trying to get rid of the police on campus. I mean, because here's the thing: a lot of universities, rape goes severely underreported. And that's not anything new. In fact, several universities have gotten in trouble for actually, I don't want to say covering it up, but they definitely are not as vocal about the number of rapes that are occurring on college campuses. They definitely are doing their best to try and make sure that the word doesn't get out. And I'll just leave that right there for you. All right, this next story is it's all part of the stuff that I think is going to driving us nuts, and this has to do with a 16-year-old girl who was on a swim team that practiced at a Y, and she actually got kicked off of the swim team because she refused to share a locker room with a transgendered man. That's right. So a 16-year-old says she was kicked off the swim team for protesting biological males in YMCA girls' locker room. So in other words, you had a biological male going into the locker room naked, right? And they're once again, they're in there. They're trying to change. And then because these 16-year-old girls are like, look, I no, we're not going to do this. And they actually put signs up protesting it. She got kicked off of the team. It says here, a 16-year-old Illinois swimmer accused of hate speech for speaking out against biological males being allowed in the girls' locker room at a Springfield YMCA. Abigail Wheeler says she was kicked off the YMCA spy swim team after she and a teammate put up signs reading women's rights, biological women only, and safe sport to alert other girls that biological males were in the area. Now, I don't know. Maybe once again, I will just say this. Maybe I'm just kind of weird like this, but if you have daughters, I'm thinking that you really don't want your daughters being exposed to male genitalia while they are trying to change themselves. I'm assuming that you don't want, here's the thing. In some cases, these are literally trans women, men. These are people who are transitioning. But in many cases, these are not. These are just, and by the way, they're always biological males. But in some cases, these are perverts who are seeking to take advantage of some people who are willing to basically put women at risk. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it, but that's what they're interested in doing. That's what they seem to be out there doing. I don't understand the idea, once again, of I don't understand why they can't create a separate locker room for them, right? Maybe have a separate locker room or changing space. But I think that we're not. This whole thing, and what really gets me about a lot of this is that we're not even necessarily talking about. We're not talking about grown-ups. We're not talking about grown adults who get to make adult decisions. We're talking about protecting kids. And in this case, you have a child who is punished for basically saying, look, we deserve our own locker room. Women deserve their own locker room. I don't understand what the issue is here. And I don't understand why they would do this. And it's interesting, though, that this is the Young Men's Christian Association. And I guess what they're going to say is, well, they're not very Christian, and ain't got nothing to do with men either. Well, this one does kind of have to do with men, if you get it. Anyway, long story short, this is not unique. This is not the only time. We are going to see this happen more and more. And I'm very, very interested to see in a couple of decades from now, when we look back on this, honestly, where are we going to be intellectually when it comes to it? Where are we going to be? Where is society? How is the future going to judge us and what we are doing to our kids, and now what we're doing to females, to women? I mean, where are all the feminists out there? I mean, y'all fought for Title IX in order to have equality in sports, and now you're just having it taken away from you, right? Think about this. Think about that, all of the Me Too stuff that went on. There was and all of the Me Too stuff, and all of the stuff where people were losing their jobs and all of that for doing certain things, and now all of a sudden you have it so that all a guy has to do is say he identifies as a woman today, and he now gets to walk around naked in the women's locker room. And by the way, you as a female have absolutely no say in the matter. That's your modern Democratic Party. That's our modern woke movement these days. Speaking of woke, or speaking of things kind of just being turned upside down, there was an incident in Delaware, and this is an article written by Cam Edwards over at Bearing Arms, a great source of news and information for us. But here in the piece, he talks about how the Delaware Department of Justice targets victim of ammo theft, meaning they're going to prosecute them for something, going after them, while at the same time cutting the person who stole the ammo a break. Let me read the story to you. A 39-year-old felon in Delaware who admitted to stealing more than 500,000 rounds of ammunition over the course of a year and selling the pilfered rounds to gang members in Philadelphia and Dover will likely avoid prison time thanks to a sweetheart deal offered by the state. But the retailer who was the victim of the shoplifter is now in legal crosshairs of the Delaware Department of Justice. Danielle M. Brookins entered a guilty plea in state court back in April to one count of possession of ammunition by a person prohibited, and in exchange was handed down an awfully light sentence, report to drug diversion program. Under Delaware law, Brookins could have received as much as 8 years in prison if her case had been referred to the U.S. Department of Justice for federal prosecution. She could have been looking at a decade behind bars. Instead, Brookins will get to avoid prison altogether once a judge signs off on the plea deal, and the Delaware Department of Justice has turned its attention on Cabela's, the store where Brookins received her 5-finger discount. Here, I guess this is the article that they're reporting from. The State Department of Justice is demanding to see Cabela's records, specifically its loss prevention policies. The DOJ also wants to see the records of other Cabela's and its sister store, Bass Pro Shop, within 100 miles of the Christina Mall location. This would include at least 2 in Pennsylvania and 1 in New Jersey and another in Maryland. So in other words, what they're going to argue here, folks, is, well, you made it too easy for her to steal. Yeah, they're blaming the victim. So the ammo got stolen from Cabela's. All of this ammo got stolen from Cabela's. And instead of prosecuting the person who stole 500,000 rounds, instead of putting them in jail for rounds that they sold to gang members and drug dealers, right? They're going after Cabela's. Yeah, I know, right? They're being victimized twice. Not only did they steal it, and I doubt they're going to get any of the ammo back. I doubt they're going to get compensated for any of it, which means that the customers there are basically paying higher prices because of shrinkage, right? So they're paying higher prices while at the same time, this person's going to get off. They're literally going to get off. Now they're going to possibly get fined. They're going to be in trouble for for however they. First of all, let me just say that Cabela's, you got to do better. If someone can steal 500,000 rounds of ammo, there's something wrong with your process. I will give you that. But if they wind up prosecuting them at all, if they wind up going after them or finding them or anything like that, while at the same time letting the person who stole it basically walk, that is not justice. And I think we can all agree that that is not justice. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's about that time for our parting shot, brought to you by Hog Holsters. Just go to hogholsters.com. Get your Hog Holster today by using the discount code The Rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. Let's see. We'll start off here with Gotham has a new villain. Her name is the Giggler. For those of you who are just listening to the program, it's Kamala Harris dressed up as the Joker. I'll just make a long story short. It's Kamala Harris as the Joker. Oh, ooh, here's another one. This one's fun. Okay, here you've got what appears to be Joe Biden sniffing some poor, unassuming woman. And then you've got Hunter there with, by the way, a mound of cocaine on the table there next to them. And it says, "I already snorted her, Dad. It's just dandruff." And then finally, you've got the cocaine in the White House belongs to aliens. Yeah, that's KJP. Anyway, just goes to show you, we always tell you.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
All right, folks. Well, that's going to be it for today's show. But before we go, we're going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to our sponsors. There we go. Let's say hello to Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, rifle and pistol length barrels. Get them today. California Republican Assembly. Become a part of CRA today. I'm sorry. I always keep messing this one up. Okay, if you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. There you go. Get your hog holster at hogholster.com. Use discount code rundown, all caps, no spaces. Get your hog holster today. And finally, get your outdoor gear, combat gear. Get your summer gear. You're going to definitely want to get that. Get it at uscombatgear.com. All right, and that's going to be it for today's program. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for liking and sharing the program, encouraging your friends to do the same. We will be back tomorrow on Taco Tuesday. Holler at you then.